Today, I thought we'd take a deep dive into disease. So let's start by considering why Shakespeare includes so much imagery of disease, poison, and decay in the play. Well, one reason could be to explore how hatred and passion can metaphorically infect individuals and society. And the feud between the Capulets and Montagues is a perfect example of this. Tybalt in particular shows a lot of hatred for the Montagues without really knowing why. In Act 1 he states, "What? Drawn, and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee." Tybalt's hatred here seems both irrational and illogical, but like a disease, his violent actions spread throughout Verona, leading to further conflict. And the hatred between the two families seems so deep-rooted as suggested by the quote, "cankered hate," implying that it would be difficult to eradicate or get rid of, and so Verona itself has become diseased with hatred. You could argue that the prince tries to cure the city of its violence when he threatens the Capulets and Montagues with death. Following the brawl between the two families in Act 1, the prince berates them, stating, "If you ever disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace." Unfortunately, his cure, his threat of death, is just not enough, as the disease of hatred has become too widespread. Secondly, Shakespeare presents love and passion as a kind of sickness within the play. Romeo's emotions are often described as a physical illness, which we can clearly see in this quote. Love is a smoke raised with the fume of sighs, being purged a fire sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed a sea nourished with lovers' tears. And the metaphor of smoke and fumes suggests something unhealthy or suffocating. The idea of purging has medical connotations, as if love needs to be purged like a disease. And the sea made of tears paints a picture of overwhelming sorrow, like the symptoms of an emotional illness. And so Shakespeare often portrays Romeo's love as a disease, which infects and consumes him. When he meets Juliet, he seems to pass this infection on to her. Like a virus, it spreads quickly and takes over any rational thought that she has. And we can see this in the following quote. "My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep the more I give to thee. The more I have, for both are infinite." It's almost like she's under a spell or has been gripped by a fever. And like a fever, their love burns brightly and hot, but burns out just as quickly. Act 3, Scene 1 is probably one of the most famous scenes in the play. It's also the turning point when the play turns from a comedy to a tragedy. After being fatally wounded by Tybalt, Mercutio exclaims, "A plague on both your houses." The plague that Mercutio refers to isn't necessarily in reference to a literal plague, but rather it's more of a social statement. Remember, Verona has become infected with pride and vengeance thanks to the feud. As a consequence, innocent people have become embroiled and caught up. And in this case, Mercutio becomes the first victim or casualty of this infection within Verona. Something you will have noticed is that Shakespeare often uses poison as a powerful symbol of how something small can be destructive. Early on, Friar Lawrence warns, "Poison hath residence and medicine power." Here he's reflecting on how a plant can both heal and kill. Metaphorically speaking, he's suggesting that humans have the potential to do both good and bad. And we see this idea present itself within the feud. The feud has the potential to unify or be a destructive force. Unfortunately, the Capulets and Montagues let it become destructive. and the hatred between the two families is like a poison which spreads throughout Verona, infecting everyone, including Romeo, Juliet, Mercutio, and Tybalt. Just as poison destroys the body from within, the feud destroys families, friendships, and love from the inside. So why does Shakespeare repeat the symbol of poison throughout the play? Well, we've got to remember that Elizabethans believed that sin, hatred, and revenge were like poison to the soul. Perhaps Shakespeare is reminding the audience about the dangers that come from hatred and making poor choices. Our final consideration is linked to Friar Lawrence's undelivered letter. His plan really depended on Romeo receiving the letter in order for him to explain Juliet's fake death. However, the letter never reaches Romeo, as Friar John, the person delivering the letter, gets quarantined due to fears of a plague. The audience in 1590s London would have been familiar with outbreaks of plague, which often shut down theatres and public life. So Shakespeare making this reference would have resonated deeply with the audience at the time. So what is Shakespeare's overall message? Perhaps he's suggesting that social division and hatred can become destructive and infect relationships and the choices that people make. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your ideas in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out the next video in our series.